What do I wish I had known before I started my coaching business? I'm going to share that with you in this video. So today I want to share with you 3 things I wish I had known before I started my coaching business. And this is a topic that I have shared in the past, but it was a little bit different. It was 3 things I wish I had known before I started my business, because I actually started as a personal finance blogger that turned into a business with the business model of ads and affiliate income. And then I started my coaching and consulting business. The consulting business came first, where I got several done for you clients, and I was running their blogs and running their social media, doing content marketing and things like that. And then I shifted into the area of doing coaching and more done with you versus done for you. And so the previous topic was what I wish I had known before I started my business. But this time I want to share what I wish I had known before I started my coaching business, because I know that several of you are coaches. And if you are, please comment below and let me know what type of coaching that you do. I would love to connect and get to know you better. And so I wanted to share this topic, especially if you're just starting your coaching business, or if you're kind of thinking like, do I want to start a coaching business or do I want to keep going? Because as I'm going to share with you, that's part of what I considered as well. So the first thing I wish I had known before I started my coaching business is that you have to see yourself there before anyone else will. Whew. This was huge for me. I don't know how much of this I want to share, because I had certain family members who they didn't see the vision before it was made plain, right? And I always saw the vision. So as the business owner, as the entrepreneur, as the visionary, for the most part, you're going to see the vision before everybody else sees it. And that's really what it was for me. I was so excited about starting my business. I knew exactly what I wanted to share. I knew how I wanted to share it. I knew the type of people that I wanted to reach. And I just saw it in my mind so clearly, and how successful I would be. And I saw everything. But unfortunately, everybody else around me didn't quite see it. So this might be the same for you. If you have friends or family members, or even people who are watching you, and you make that announcement or you get started and they're watching you because they want to see you succeed. But really, for the most part, a lot of people are scared to see you succeed, because it's not really about you. It's about them. Because if you succeed, then it'll mean to them that they need to get out there and do that thing that they're scared of doing. So once I realized that, it was really up to me to hold that vision until it came to the physical realm, then it was a lot easier. In conversations, I didn't feel like I needed to defend myself as much. I really went more along the lines of, well, I know that this is going to happen, and, I'm just going to keep going until it does. Being an entrepreneur is lonely. You don't have lots of companions, because, we're kind of crazy as entrepreneurs. We're, a small percentage of people who are willing to go out on their own and leverage our resources and make our own money and things like that. And so it's sometimes difficult to be on this journey on your own and doing it on your own. But that's one thing that I feel like I wish I had known before I started my coaching business, was that, I needed to continue to hold the vision for myself. But it's also not my job to force anybody else to see the vision. It's my job to hold the vision until it becomes clear and plain in the physical realm. And that's what I have continued to do. And I remember the first time that I had this one person in particular come to me and was like, wow, you're doing a great job. And at that point, it would have been nice to hear that when I first started. But at that point, it was kind of something that I was like, yeah, I know. Because I've been holding the vision for so long. I had already gone through those ups and downs in my own journey and, in my mind. And so it was once somebody else saw it, it's kind of yeah, I already see it, but thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So you do have to see yourself there before anyone else will, and that's fine. The second thing that I wish I had known before I started my coaching business is it's okay to stretch yourself before you think you're ready. the issue is that, a lot of times you won't be ready. You will feel like, you've got to just do this one little thing and fix this little other thing and tweak this thing. And, you've got this whole plan that you've been working on that you've just got to execute first before you do this other thing. And it's really okay to like not be quite ready yet and just do it anyway. And that's why I say stretch yourself. So it's okay to stretch yourself to do something before you think you're ready. Because what happens is the act of doing that thing is usually what stretches you to being ready and to that next level. So a specific example for this is there was a coach that I wanted to invest with, and I did not think I was ready at all. The investment was $8,000, and it wasn't something that wasn't just cash that I had on hand. My business wasn't making that much at that point. I think if I were to break down the payments, I think that was like exactly what the business was making at that point. I had only one client at the time, but I knew that making that investment was going to allow me to, take things to the next level, right? Or, get to that point where I could see myself at that new level. And that's what I mean by stretching yourself. When you stretch yourself and you essentially force yourself out of your comfort zone, you start doing things that you would never have done before because they weren't comfortable. And so there were things that I was super uncomfortable doing. So case in point, and I'll take you guys kind of back and tell you a little story about back to my first 5-figure month. And so this was a couple of months after I had invested with that coach, and I was starting to make additional investments as well. So I invested with a mentor in the area of mindset. I started looking at different programs to help me with my marketing and the digital stuff like the funnels and stuff like that, so I could beef up my own knowledge, especially in the area where I wanted to help clients. And I remember that when I was working with my mindset coach, she was like, all right, how many people have you reached out to this week? And I was like, I didn't have an answer for her. And I was like, well, what do I need to do? And she was like, this is where you want to be and this is what you want to do. So this is your homework and this is what you've got to get done. And the thing is that because I invested with her, because I made that very large investment and something that made me uncomfortable, it got me to the point where I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. Like, I've already done this uncomfortable thing. How bad can it be to do this outreach the way she told me to do it? And so I started doing the outreach and I started booking additional calls on my calendar and I started talking with potential clients, and I was leveraging everything that I knew and just really kind of brute forcing it and pushing that ball up the hill. And I remember that month that I was working with her, I booked 27 calls with potential clients. And before that, I had never done anything like that before. And I remember telling her that my goal was to book 10 calls. I was like, if I can book 10 calls, I know that I can book at least one client. And if I book one client, then, I'll be happy. And I booked 27 calls. And it was because I got uncomfortable and I did those things that, I previously would not have done before. So all that to say, it's okay to stretch yourself before you think you will. So all that to say, it's okay to stretch yourself before you think you're ready. And just to finish off that story, that was the month that I hit my very first 5 figures. And it was I didn't just book one client, I actually booked 3 clients. And I had some money coming in from other sources as well, like some of my affiliate income that was coming in. And then I had one consulting client also. And, all of that came together where I made $11,000 that month. So I was really, really excited. And it all came from me stretching myself. And at that moment, especially when I thought back to that first $8,000 investment that I made, up to that point where I had been investing in myself and in my business, it was all of those investments just seemed small in relation to what I had finally done. I never thought that I would get to the point where I could make $11,000 in 1 month. And now I've done that several times over and over again. And, I've made more than that in a month. But it's it was that very first one that kind of helped me believe, because now I was at that level where I was like, oh, I know it's possible. This is how I do it. And I had to stretch myself. So, when you want to get to that next point, you can't just reach it by stepping. It's okay to stretch yourself before you think you're ready. And the final thing I wish I had known before I started my coaching business is it's not okay to get ready to get ready. And this kind of goes into the idea of procrastination, but also perfection. And a lot of times procrastination mixes with that desire to be perfect, that perfectionist trait that some of us have. And I have it too. Like, I'm the type of person where I do want things to be perfect. So if you notice, I don't know if you watch some of my other videos, this little area right down here there's like a little watering can, but you can't see it because this little bookcase is here. But that little area right down there. Okay. There is a plug that comes from this window unit, right? Because I'm in the attic room. This is my office, the attic room. There's a plug that comes from the window unit. And if I go down here, you can see, you can't see it because I hit it. But there's a plug that comes down here and it goes right into the wall right down there. And it wouldn't be annoying except for the fact that there's a orange tag and a yellow tag on it. And if you watch any of the videos that I've recorded before this, you'll probably notice that it's there. Or I've usually I angle my body, or I put my arm like that so you can't see it. But it bugged me. It continued to bug me. And today my perfectionist person came into play and I was like, let me just check and see what I can do there. So I actually grabbed some printed paper that I have and I just taped it in the box in the back. So you can see the handle. Let me see if I move this. I don't know if I can kind of shift it to the side a little bit without knocking over my plant. So you can see the watering can and you can see the handle in the shot, which I probably will update that so you can't see the handle because I think it looks weird to have just a random handle there. But you can see the handle in the shot, but you can't see the plug. And it's because I took a second to put some tape that paper up in there. But in those cases, the perfectionist thing is fine. If it would have stopped me from recording videos, it would not have been fine. And so it's not okay to get ready. Sometimes you're going to have to push that perfectionist to the side and you're just going to have to go. You're going to have to launch. You're going to have to go before you're ready. A perfect example of this is we were in Playa del Carmen for the Royal Retreat and we went ziplining for our excursion. So if you haven't checked out the details from the retreat, definitely go watch that video. I will link it right now because I shared exactly what we did, everything that we did in Playa del Carmen. We go every year on the Royal Retreat. It might be a different location every year, but I know that this past year we went to Playa del Carmen. And this next year we're going to Playa del Carmen. So we went ziplining for our excursion and we do a bonding excursion. It's a very small, intimate retreat. So it's so much fun. We're able to do a lot of high value activities because we have a small group. And so we went ziplining and I remember the first people who went, they were very nervous. And I think it was, my sister and, Deborah who went. And so the guy was like, all right, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, and then you guys are going to go. And they were like, okay. And so he was like, 1, 2, and then he pushed them off. And they were so surprised that he told them to go before they were ready. They were waiting to hear 3. And I feel like that's what happens in our business a lot of times. Sometimes we just need to go on 2, just be okay with going on 2. It's okay. They made it to the other end. Okay. They had a great time. And if you wait for that number 3, sometimes what happens is, you're kind of putting all those things in place and now you're so scared to fail that it makes it worse in your mind than what it really is. Sharing my very first launch, this was the very first time I released a program that was $1,000 and I was super excited for it, but I was really nervous at the same time. And I waited so long to make everything perfect that on the day that I launched, there was so much pent up energy and so much writing on this one webinar, this one launch, that at the end of the webinar, I think I made 1 sale and I was just I was so devastated. And it took me out for several days when if I had just, went on 2 when I wasn't quite ready and then gave myself the opportunity to, just continue learning and appreciating the experience, I feel like it definitely would not have stressed me out for the next couple of months the way that it did. So it's not okay to get ready. You just got to get out there. You just got to go before you think you're ready. Be okay with failing forward. And that's something that I like to say because a lot of times when you fail, people feel like, okay, I failed and I'm just stuck here. But that's not true. When you fail, it gives you opportunity to learn. And now you know what not to do next time. And the more you know what not to do, the more you know what to do so that the next time you go, you're essentially failing forward because you're getting closer and closer to your goal by doing the tiny, small failures along the way. Do you fail forward? Do you feel like there were some things that you wish you would have known before you started your coaching business? Was there anything that I mentioned that resonated with you? Definitely comment below and let me know. And also, if you'd like more help on creating a solid coaching program. I've got a brand new training called How to Create a Solid Coaching Program. And it's going to take you through this process. I actually go through and talk about how I got started, how I made my first $2,400 from my first clients, how I chose pricing, how I figured out what to include, and how I actually got on the phone and enrolled people. And so if you feel like that behind the scenes conversation would be really helpful for you, then you definitely want to sign up for this training. I will leave details in the description box, or you can go to latisha.tv/solid in order to get there. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.